Pee jug.
Pee jug.
Pee jug.
Bitch.
Sing and me, oh pee jug audience, and let us talk about the tale of Odysseus being the Odyssey. Now, I am talking over this Italian film called La Odissea from 1911 because old movies like that are in the public domain, which makes life for YouTuber real easy. Now, if you're some maybe student of some sort who's doing some sort of homework on Odysseus, you're reading the Odyssey, you hate the book, you hate your life, you hate the school, there you have the facts of life. I don't know. Either way, it's not for you, bro. It's not for you. This is for Odyssey fans only. Odyssey gang, you fucking nerds who are just studying for shit need to get the fuck out, bro. Cause this is Pee Jug, bitch. Remember the name, bitch. Moving on. I don't think Odysseus gets enough love nowadays. Everyone goes on and on. Achilles this, Achilles that, the Iliad, the Troy, blah, blah, blah. We love the story of Troy and the Trojan War. And, you know, the coolest thing that Odysseus has is the motherfucking Sean Bean in the movie Troy. And a lot of people hate the movie Troy, but I like it, okay? I know it's not in any sort of accurate to anything, probably, but I think it's a fun movie to watch, and it sparks my imagination, all right? And you know what else sparked my imagination? Reading the Odyssey. And yes, when I was one of you studying nerds, I was told to read the Odyssey, but I was told that I didn't have to read the whole thing. There were huge sections I just didn't have to read because they deemed it irrelevant or maybe even too boring, all right? But no, I read the whole thing, bro, during these classes and whatnot. I loved every second of it. I thought the Odyssey was such a cool book, such a like fun adventure, almost like a video game or something. The rest of the channel, if you aren't used to it, it deals a lot with video games. You could say I'm a bit of a fan of Odysseus and the Odyssey. I love that he's smart and he does it by being like Achilles and using, well, not using, but when he's overcome with wrath at the death of Patroclus, just tearing just a bloody wave through the Trojan army. It's Odysseus is the wily one, but just being smart and just being a more, how do I say, interesting character in my opinion. I think he's more interesting. But what do I know, right? I'm just as we pay a pee jug. All right, but what do I know? All right, here's one idea that I think is cool and made the story extra dope to me. Check this out. If Odysseus is so cunning and manipulative and he uses his big old wrinkly brain to get whatever the fuck he wants, right? Say, you know that moment when he goes to that king to ask for the boats after he's been on Calypso's island for however long? When he gets to that king and he tells us that's most of the tale of the Odyssey with, as you know, the Cyclops and the Sirens and the blah 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 and all of that, and on the Lotus Eaters who are definitely my favorite because I like to partake in a little bit of the devil's lettuce now and again, or pretty much all the time. And a lot of people compare it to poppies, but let me interject my fantasy how I want to. So anyway, all these fantastical stories that Odysseus has while he's been fucking off on an island for the past 10 years, where did it come from? Did he actually do this shit with the Cyclops and the Sirens or is he making up that story to the king to get the boats to go home and kill all the people trying to bang his wife? What is more plausible? That he is a weaver of tales, that he could captivate the king with his charisma and everything he's learned. He's had 10 years to think up this story and going through all the ins and outs to make himself look like the greatest hero to return home from the Trojan War. Or, did he actually do all that, or did he make it up? I'm just saying, I think he made it up. And that's like a big old twist, if you ask me. To include it at the end, that's a personal interpretation, but I haven't, maybe it's something that's very common to hear from. I haven't heard it, but that's why I like the character or even the book so much, because it had that twist. The whole story could have not happened, and it could have just been like further entrenching the fact that Odysseus is, you know, that he's cunning and wily and all the epitaphs or epithets or whatever it is. See, you shouldn't come here to study, man. You'll get the words wrong. You give them multiple choice where they try and slip you up on a technicality even though you know what you're talking about. All right, don't take tests while you're stoned. I mean, I know some people would say, nah, don't do it. All right, I would read the Odyssey while I was stoned, though. It's like amazing. Anyway, so let's get beyond the spoiler alert. If you're me, in my head canon, none of the actual interesting parts of the Odyssey existed, and all that happened was Odysseus fucked off to an island for 10 years, heard that his wife was getting hit on, and he went home to solve all that, and he lied to a king to get some boats, and then bada bing, bada boom, Suitor's testicles fed to the dogs, or at least in the version of the Odyssey that I read, man. I don't know what version you read, but in my version, he cuts off those testes and feeds them to his dogs, man. Like, I don't know. In his defense, I think they were gonna kill his son. So it's not that they were just like trying to hit on his wife. They were like taking over his house and plotting to kill his son to make it easier to overtake. So the Suitors weren't good guys. I don't mourn them. I'm just saying, if it was anything less, I'd be like, wow, Odysseus. I mean, you weren't exactly there, but I mean, the Suitors, we're bad guys. Supposedly. I mean, we don't know the whole story. There could be some, but they actually, the Suitors were the good guys. You could have that interpretation if you want to. I'm not going to stop you, but let's get to some other stuff. Even if you don't have that twist, let's get back to just the main story content. Yeah, the Odyssey isn't about Troy, but it's just like the grandest adventure ever over time. It's like the origin of all great stories, and it's any great like fantasy journey you could consider some sort of Odyssey, right? Like the Lord of the Rings is kind of an Odyssey. I just don't pressure me on other books right now, okay? We're talking about this. Even like video game storylines, tell me the Odyssey isn't like a video game or like a Zelda video game with puzzles that you gotta solve, and you just see like little bits of logic around the world, and you just gotta be like, well, it's not exactly like real life, but I can come up with a solution to this weirdo puzzle. It's not just that I plug my ears, I gotta put the wax in my ears. Oh no, Odysseus didn't have the wax in his ears. The ship, all the crew did, and Odysseus was just tied to the front. He's the sneaky guy, he's the espionage guy, he's the big brain guy, he's the CIA, and maybe those aren't all good traits to have if you're the happy normal life, but if you're this epic soldier who's been on the battlefield actively fucking trying to overtake the Trojans and stuff for whatever reason, the gods are involved. Aphrodite took a woman, and in reality it was probably just Paris taking a woman. Now let's go into a little deeper of a layer on the topic. Now let's just say, since the Iliad and the Odyssey are the two surviving works of, the epic cycle recounting the Trojan War, I don't believe it's any coincidence that the two surviving books, being the Iliad, has to do with, some of the worst trauma and the worst trauma of war, and I guess how to deal with death and forgiveness of the enemy, or like respect of the enemy, and all of that grand stuff. But then there's also, the Iliad is soldiers in battle. All right, not the whole battle, but enduring works that survive are the soldiers in battle and the soldiers returning home, and the struggles they face in both. The struggles that soldiers face both in battle and returning home from it. And it's profound, and people can identify with that over the years. Maybe so many people want to draw to the scenes of battle, but maybe it's less looked upon in the perils of returning home. Maybe you could look at it all allegorically as the struggles soldiers face as they return home. How many times have I said that? Has it sunk in yet? You think you're gonna get an A+ on your exam, bro? Moving on. So yeah, the Odyssey's role of just, I think, storytelling in general, fantasy storytelling. I say fantasy, it's mythology and epic poems, but come on, man. Do you not see where like all the best adventure stories draw from stuff like the Odyssey, or even just really fun, simple adventure stories where it's just a hero going from one place to that? Maybe that's why people favor the Iliad, because it has a lot to say about war and soldiers and whatnot. And the Odyssey is just an adventure tale, just a blah da 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 da. Tell you what, I don't know. The Odyssey can be a really fun read if you're open to it. You know, maybe stop just trying to read it to get the grades, man. Maybe try and read it to have fun and really enjoy yourself. I don't know. I could look up a billion things on dissecting the character of Achilles and what it means, but I guess there's not much to say on the Odyssey. It just seems pretty straightforward, eh? No one else is super stoked on Odysseus but me. I mean, granted, it is one of the stories of the before, during, and after of the Trojan War to survive over the years. So clearly I'm not the only one who likes it. It has survived for a long time. I just think we all need to think more about Odysseus and the Odyssey, and don't stop thinking about the Iliad either. There's a lot of important shit in that. I'm just saying, maybe some of you people out there who are smarter than me and have like maybe degrees or something, maybe one of you will see this and be able to see that there's an interest out there and make a way better video than this. This is a call to action to anyone who knows what they're talking about to just give some sort of online content for me to watch about Odysseus. That's why I'm making this. I'm looking up online content. It seems like it's all just for fucking high school people studying for a test, man. That's really sad. I mean, maybe I never would have read the book in the first place if I hadn't been given it in high school in the first place. Maybe some of you who are studying for a test are super stoked on Odysseus, but most likely you're probably trying to figure out your future and your personality and life and all that, the complications of feeling like an adult but being treated like a child. Yeah, you're probably concerned with all that. At the time, I was very concerned with the Odyssey and all that other stuff. If you have any recommendations of oh yeah, I haven't even talked about Oh Brother Where Art Thou. Like, everyone says they love Oh Brother Where Art Thou, but I guess they don't love Odysseus himself. Maybe I'm wrong. If you have recommendations for other interpretations of the Odyssey besides Oh Brother Where Art Thou, let me know down in the comments. If you want to see more Odyssey related content, smash like and also subscribe and hit the Twitter, because I'm currently Twitter's #1 gamer girl, dude. No, I will not play Assassin's Creed Odyssey, because Assassin's Creed is fucking trash. I even have Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but people aren't actually super stoked on Odysseus. It doesn't even have Odysseus in it. Either way, I'm getting mad again that they have Assassin's Creed Odyssey and you're not even like playing as Odysseus. That could be so cool. I mean, I don't know how they could expand it. Look, this film is even only like 20 minutes. I'm getting hyped up again. Alright, Peepy Jug audience, I'm gonna get out of your hair. Go read the Odyssey. Appreciate it, and leave your book recommendations down below.
Get good, scrub.